Hello everybody, hope you all had a wonderful long weekend, a lovely holiday, 4 days off for most of you. I had a couple of days off. I was working on Saturday seeing clients and then had a beautiful day yesterday, went for a beautiful coastal walk yesterday, which was absolutely wonderful. So I hope you all had a great weekend, but for some, maybe some of you overindulged a little bit too much. Maybe you enjoyed yourselves. Well, you can't enjoy yourselves too much, can you? But maybe there was a little bit of chocolate, maybe there was a little bit more wine than you anticipated, more processed foods, or maybe takeaway foods. And we can feel this. We can feel like this can be a bit of a burden on our system. Some of us can take that more than others. Some of us will have a few days, maybe on some alcohol, maybe some of us will have a few days binging, and we feel fine. Other people, though, for them, having foods like sugars and chocolates and foods that just don't suit their system or more alcohol, they're left feeling fatigued, they're left feeling bloated, they're left feeling inflamed, sometimes depressed, sometimes melancholy. So everyone's a little bit different. And like I said, some people are fine. They can go a few days and they feel absolutely fine, whereas others tend to get symptoms, negative symptoms for just having a few days, not following their usual routine. So this is for you. This is for those people that feel like they need to do a little bit of a cleanse. They just need to do a little bit of a reset. Just figure out where they are and also understand where is it that my body is not quite connecting? Where is it my body is not quite working? Is it my kidneys? Is it my liver? Is it my appendix? Is it my lymphatic system? Is it my skin? Is it my lungs? Is it my bowel? Where is it? I just need to do a little bit of work. So we're going to go through that. So today we're just going to talk about those body systems that help us cleanse, help us detox, help us eliminate waste, support our immune system, support our endocrine system, support growth and vitality and optimal health. We're going to talk about those. We're also going to talk about the number one issue I see in clinic in terms of detoxification. So why people that can't detoxify, what are they coming to me with? We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about a little bit where to start, and then tomorrow we're going to dive a little bit deeper in what you can actually do to help you cleanse and help you detoxify. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Naomi Judge. I'm a naturopath and nutritionist, and I help women connect the dots between their health, their happiness and their hormones. And you may be asking a question then, what does cleansing have to do with your health, your happiness and your hormones? Well, it has a whole lot to do with your health, your happiness and hormones. If we're not cleansing or if we're not detoxifying, our hormones can go a little bit crazy. Our testosterone can go all over the place. Our thyroid hormones can go low. Our estrogen hormones can go high. We can also have issues with serotonin. We can have issue with our endorphins, with dopamine. So it can make us depressed. It can make us unhappy. It can affect our sleep. Having a bit of a toxic load can also affect our melatonin, which is our sleep hormone, can cause more inflammation, which can affect our insulin levels. So you see, it is all connected. So it's really intricately connected, but everything does have its place and everything is connected for women when it comes to their health, their happiness and their hormones. So that's why I always like to just touch on this, and we're going to go into the cleanse reboot shortly. So let's just talk about a few body systems first. Let's talk about your liver and some signs that your liver might just be struggling a little bit. So some signs could be itchy skin, particularly the itchy skin where you don't have any markings. So your skin is itchy, but there's no hives, there's no markings on the skin. It's like an underlying crawling sensation under your skin. That can very much be related to your liver. Acne. And in traditional Chinese medicine, you actually get acne in between the eyes here and also on the temples. Both of those areas can indicate liver toxicity. The liver is struggling to detoxify. The liver is struggling to get rid of waste products, fatty hormones, cholesterol, toxins, that kind of thing. Water retention is also a big one when it comes to liver. And also a funny feeling in your abdomen. So a sensation in your abdomen of fullness, feeling full all the time. A bit bloated, but it's more like a heavy feeling. So that can indicate that your liver's not working properly. And then also nausea, particularly nausea in the morning, motion sickness, nausea on the bus in the morning, nausea in the car sickness, that kind of thing. But particularly waking in the morning and feeling nauseous. And then also feeling nauseous after you've eaten fat. So that actually means that the gallbladder and the liver aren't working in beautiful conjunction together. They should be secreting the beautiful bile acids, which should be breaking down that fat, sending that fat elsewhere in your body. But unfortunately, that may not be happening. So you get nauseous when you have a little bit too much fat. So that tends to mean it needs to be worked on a little bit. Also, cellulite. Now, the reason cellulite can show up with liver problems is because of the water retention and because we hold on to a lot of fluid. So cellulite can actually show up with a number of different body systems are out of whack, but it is because we get that kind of water retention, so the fluid sits under the skin. And what that essentially does is it pushes those fat pockets out, which can cause that cellulite. So that's one of the symptoms of toxicity, can be the cellulite, and it's really that knock-on effect of water retention. With the lymphatic system is one of the most important systems for detoxifying, particularly for detoxifying fat cells, fat molecules. What tends to happen is when we eat fat, it actually, instead of going through the liver to go through phase 1 or 2 of the liver, it actually gets sent straight through the lymphatic system. So if we're having lots of fats like hydrogenated oils or canola oil, which is rapeseed oil, what will happen is our lymphatic system can actually get a little bit overburdened. And if we're having hormonal therapy, or if we're taking lots of painkillers, or if we're on medication, the lymphatic system can get very bogged down, and that can look like a lot of water retention, particularly the water retention in your lower ankles. So your lower legs there will get a little bit swollen. Elevated cholesterol is also a sign of lymphatic congestion, because the lymph system, the lymph system is working like a pump the whole time. Slowly it's moving upwards in your body like a pump. It's moving everything upwards, going to the lymph filters, our glands here, also in our armpits, going there to these glands, and then it's kind of doing its job from there. It kind of twists everything in these, they go around like a clock, I suppose, like little clocks, to detoxify everything. So if that's not working properly, or we've got too many toxins, too many fat-soluble hormones going on in our lymph, it's going to get backed up, and that's going to cause elevated cholesterol, immune problems, so autoimmune and regular immune problems, because our lymphatic system is in control of sending immune cells around the body. When our body sees that something's going on, is there a virus that's just come in? Is there a bacteria that's just come in? What is that assault on our body? The lymph will send the immune systems there, the immune molecules there straight away. So if the lymph's not working properly, you may find you get lots more coughs and colds. You may find you get autoimmune condition flare-ups regularly. So it's really interesting to look at that and actually pay attention to the immune system. Also, you find that you get lots of allergies, so hives, sinus problems, real backed up sinus problems, puffy eyes around here, sore throat, maybe itchy throat. And then also what you might get is you might actually get lots of throat issues. So you may get strep throat a lot and lots of congestion here, or you may even get the swollen glands. Some people feel the swollen glands here, swollen glands on the side of the face there, and in other areas as well. Then there's the kidneys. The kidneys are so very important, and I feel like we neglect the kidneys, particularly if we drink alcohol. The kidneys get that first hit. They get that alcohol and they have to really deal with it quite quickly. So the kidneys we tend to neglect, and they can get very tired and very worn out and a little bit overworked at times, particularly if we're making them work day in, day out. Maybe we're drinking not only just alcohol, but we're drinking all sorts of other things. We're really making those kidneys work. Those kidneys have to control the blood pressure. They take care of the heart. They take care of all of that, the water retention in our body, and they're really looking at the salt balance constantly. They're constantly trying to monitor that to keep us perfectly in balance. So if we're sweating too much, not sweating enough, the exercise we're kind of doing, if we're having more salt, less salt, our kidneys have to be monitoring that constantly. And if we're not taking care of kidneys, we're going to get some issues with our electrolyte balance. We're going to get fatigued. You might even have painful, sore, weak knees, pain in the lower back. You might find you're urinating too much, constantly urinating, or maybe you're not urinating enough. So maybe your urine's just clear all the time. You're over urinating, it's clear all the time. Or maybe you're finding your urine's a little bit cloudy and a little bit smelly. So you want it to be a little bit, kind of yellow, not completely 100% clear. You want it to be a little bit yellow, and you don't want to be going constantly needing the bathroom. So going constantly is a little bit of a sign that the kidneys aren't working correctly. Also, a metallic taste in the mouth. If you're getting a metallic taste, that can also indicate that your kidneys aren't working optimally as well. And one of the telltale signs, one of the biggest signs, is low libido. You know, those kidneys are kind of the real heat of the body, and when those kidneys they underperform. It's kind of, in Chinese medicine as well, it's that dampness, it's that fatigue. It's really dragging you down. So you might find you get a low libido, you might find you're more fatigued, you might find you just want to sleep all the time or doze off or have those naps, waking in the morning feeling fatigued, waking in the morning feeling fatigued and puffy. So that is one big sign. Another issue with detoxification is the bowel. The bowel and the gallbladder, their jobs. The gallbladder is to store the bile, pump out the bile, and the bile goes through our stomach. It goes into the small intestine, and then it goes through dealing with waste, and then we poo it out. And so that's what happens in the bowel. So if the small bowel is not working effectively, or the large bowel is not working effectively, what we're going to get is we're going to get a disruption in absorption of minerals like zinc, like calcium, like iron, like magnesium. So we get a disruption there. But also what we're going to get is this odd thing that will happen where we've got these toxins that have gone through the liver. They've gone into the bowel. And what the bowel essentially does is it can't do the right thing because it's not working properly. So sometimes we reabsorb those toxins into our bloodstream, or it can cause a bit of leaky gut for a short period of time, or it can cause constipation, or it can cause diarrhea. So there are tons of things that can happen. Other signs can be fructose malabsorption. So if you've got an issue with fruits, particularly, green apples and fruits, you get bloated and smelly flatulence. That can also mean there's something going on in your small intestine. Maybe there's some bacteria and it's inhibiting detoxification and causing essentially this kind of build up in bacteria in the small intestine. So there are lots of signs and symptoms to look out for. When your bowel isn't working properly, you get the physical symptoms. You get the bloating, constipation, diarrhea, you get flatulence, all sorts of things like that. But you also get a lot of physical symptoms. You get the dullness of the skin. You might get lots of blackheads or facial congestion, little bumps all over the place, blackheads. You might get dry, you might get flaky skin, you might get smelly breath, you might get itchy ears, sinus problems, little cuts in your nose here, so itchy eyes as well. All of these are connected. You might even get thrush, so thrush is a big one, or you might even get itchiness down there. So all sorts of things can be linked to gut issues as well. And when we talk about gut as well, we talk about the appendix. The appendix is so very important. So if you've had your appendix removed, you really need to pay attention to bacteria, because what the appendix essentially does is it stores good bacteria and it helps to kind of wash out the bowel, so to speak, with that bacteria. So when you've got severe diarrhea, when you've had an infection, when you've taken antibiotics, the appendix comes to your help, and the appendix shoots out that good bacteria into the gut. If you haven't got an appendix, you haven't got the appendix to do its job. So what you need to do is you need to be taking more good bacteria in the form of a probiotic, lactobacilli, rhamnosus, or some soil-based probiotics. You need to be taking those, because if you're not taking those and you don't have the appendix, your body's going to suffer, particularly in those times where you're having severe diarrhea. Because when you have severe diarrhea, or whenever your bowel motions are fast, or you've got hyperthyroidism and you're constantly going to the bathroom, you can't restore the balance in that bacteria quick enough. And then what that does is that leaves space for other invaders like Klebsiella, Candida, Strep, Staph, Clostridium. All of those invaders can come in because you haven't got the lactobacilli, the other bacterias, which are your friendly bacteria. So you really need to pay attention to that, particularly if you've had your appendix removed. And the appendix will occasionally get a little bit inflamed from time to time when it's doing its job. You know, it's bacteria. It might get a little bit inflamed. And if you feel that's happening, if you need to be taking that good bacteria as well to really help with that balance, and it can indicate there is a little bit of infection. So just be aware of the connection of the appendix has to your cleansing cycle, your detoxing cycle inside the body. So I just wanted to touch on liver just a little bit more because the liver is so important. So what basically happens in our body is when we consume things, they will go into our blood, which will take it to the liver, and the liver will go through certain detoxification cycles, which will then send those toxins to via bile, the bowel, to excrete, or urine. So that's what will happen, bile or urine. Urine through the kidneys, bile through the bowel. And you'll notice when your body's really trying to get rid of stuff. So for instance, if you drink things like beer or alcohol, you're like, oh, that beer is really making me, I'm just urinating a lot more. What's essentially happening is your kidneys are really trying to get rid of any of the yeast, any of the bacteria, any of the things, any of the toxins that are in that beer. And particularly if you're having things that are non-organic, such as I saw a recent article about Californian wine being high in glyphosate. Glyphosate is a chemical that's put on vegetables, foods to kill any of the pesticides, and it's a herbicide. So if we get that into our body's really going to try and get rid of it. So that's when you might find you have things that make you urinate more, you have things that make you defecate more, because your body's actually trying to get rid of it. So I just bear that in mind as well. So your liver does its job. So what your liver does is it goes through a number of chemical processes. We've got phase 1 where it goes through oxidation, and basically phase 1 is kind of the breakdown. What it does is goes through hydrolysis. So it's trying to make any fat-soluble toxins, any hormones into water soluble so they can then be removed from our body. So we've got 2 phases of detoxification in the liver, and if these 2 phases aren't working, your liver's going to struggle. And if your liver struggles, it's going to cause a burden, an overburden, of toxins in your body, but also an overburden of hormones and of chemicals and of heavy metals and things like that. So if your body can't go through the first phase of detoxification, if your liver is stuck in phase 1, things are just going to be going around and around and recycling and building up and building up, building up. If your phase 2 isn't working, what essentially happens is your body produces what's called metabolites. So in phase 2 of liver detoxification, that's a very important phase for what we call methylation. And methylation is this huge kind of hundreds of different chemical reactions that go on in your body to produce urea, to produce your endorphins, to detoxify cortisol and make it into cortisone, then into metabolites, to detoxify estrogen and to make it into metabolites, and we urinate it out. There's so many different types of chemical reactions. And if phase 2 liver detoxification pathway is not happening because we're not getting enough sulfur in our diet, we're not getting enough amino acids in our diet, what's going to essentially happen is that methylation cycle is going to stop. It's going to not work properly. And so it's going to cause a build-up of chemicals and toxins in the body. But this leads me on nicely to what the number 1 sign in clinic I see from bodies that cannot cleanse and detoxify properly. This leads me really nicely into this. And what that is it's estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance is the all-out number 1 sign. I see other signs. I see other body signs. I see acne. I see hair loss. I see dandruff. Dry, flaky lips is a big one. Redness around the mouth. Itchy ears. Itchy eyes. Keratosis pilaris. Tinea. There are so many body signs that indicate your body needs to cleanse. But one of the biggest signs I see in both men and women is estrogen dominance. And what the estrogen dominance can lead to is it can lead to conditions and exacerbate conditions called MTHFR, pyrroles, COMT, these methylation conditions which a lot of the population are suffering from. So the liver's not working. It's either not getting its folic acid or folate, it's not getting its B vitamins, its glutathione. Maybe you're having too much paracetamol, medication, HRT, alcohol, all of these things that stop the liver from working. And then the second phase of the liver, the methylation is not working. So that causes a buildup of estrogen. But then what this buildup of estrogen causes is it causes further halting of phase 2 detoxification. So then this estrogen is building up, it's moving back to phase 1, and then what essentially you're getting is unfriendly metabolites moving out because you can't properly process this estrogen. And this is what leads to estrogen dominance, and this is what leads to elevated metabolites that can cause endometriosis, that can cause fibroids, that can cause breast cancer, that can cause testicular cancer, that can cause male balding, that can cause weight problems, skin problems, depression, heavy painful periods. All of these conditions that can be caused by this estrogen dominance, plus it causes issues with your methylation, and MTHFR is one of the biggest issues that I have seen. So taking it back and just slowly taking everything back and working on your body's detoxification system and taking away things that are actually causing heat to your liver, causing your liver to struggle, is very important, particularly if you've got a family history of estrogen dominance, particularly if you've got depression or fatigue or you suffer from any menstrual problems. Then I really highly recommend that you start here, start with the cleansing and start with the light cleansing. Where to start though? Where to start in terms of cleansing? So you really need to start out going in. If you start inwards, you can see that it would kind of be like, you know, a sewer backing up in a way. You know, if you start inwards, things won't be able to get out if you don't start outwards. So what you need to essentially do is start with the skin. Start with the skin, start with the lungs, start with the mouth. Start everywhere on the outside where you know the body is pushing toxins out. Oh, hi, Natasha. So Natasha's just mentioned MTHFR, that she has it. So definitely you need to focus with the liver, and you need to focus on giving the liver what it needs, and knowing that MTHFR and estrogen dominance kind of go hand in hand. Estrogen dominance can be exacerbated by MTHFR, but also estrogen dominance can cause the MTHFR to show itself and be an issue. So you really need to focus on cleansing, detoxification, and supporting your liver as well. Really supporting your liver, that's so very important. So in terms of supporting the liver, you know, your Bs, your glutathione, your antioxidants. St. Mary's thistle is wonderful as an antioxidant for the liver, and that's very important. Then using things like sulfur vegetables, like your brassicas, your cabbage, your broccoli, those kind of things, very, very important. And also glutathione as well is very, very important. So starting outward in. So where to start? Where to start today would be the dry skin brushing. You know, dry skin brushing is wonderful to get that lymphatic system working. And if you think of someone that's estrogen dominant, estrogen is a fat soluble hormone. So the estrogen is going to be building up in your beautiful lymphatic system, the lymphatic system which is just on the edges of your skin. It's just on the outer layer of your skin. It's a very gentle pump, so you need to be very gentle with it. So, you know, yoga, walking, dry skin brushing, be very gentle with your lymphatic system and just move it upwards, and so you can move everything out of the lymph and out of the lymphatic system. You can help it along by doing things like infrared saunas, anything where you're sweating it out as well, getting things out that way. So that's very, very important, particularly with MTHFR. MTHFR sufferers need to be assisting their body in cleansing in other ways, apart from taking, you know, lots of detox supplements and things like that, because you need to be working that way. So always start on the skin and the lungs first. Also the lymphatic system. Those are the three things you need to start on. Then you can move on. Then you can move on to the bowels and the kidneys. then you can move on to the liver. So that's kind of the order of things you'll do it in. You'll always be supporting your diet with whole foods, lots and lots of vegetables. We talk about, 6 to 9 cups of vegetables a day. That's so very important. Hi, Kelly. If your skin is always dry, it depends on what kind of dryness it is. So there can be just like a dry feeling everywhere on your hands and everything like that. So everything just feels a little bit dry. And that can just be a bit of dehydration, sometimes fatty acid. Your fatty acids can be a bit low. Maybe you need a little bit more fat. Maybe you need a little bit more hydration. Definitely low B vitamins will make your skin dry. And then we've got that kind of thyroid metabolism dryness where it's scaly. So if you get scaly skin, on your ankles, that kind of thing, that's a low metabolism. So you want to be working on your metabolism, working on your thyroid, making sure you're getting enough zinc, making sure you're getting enough selenium, and that will bring that vitality back to your skin. If you're getting enough nutrients and you're getting the right diet and you're working on your thyroid, your skin will slowly come around. For your skin, you need protein, you need collagen, you need fat, you need hydration. So you need water hydration plus fat hydration for the skin. The fat will plump it out and the water will give it that nice hydration and take away the dryness. So you need both types of hydration, not just one or the other. So really work on that. But definitely metabolism is a big one. I find that clients with gluten intolerance and sensitivity to wheat and grains also get dry skin. So once they take that food out, their skin actually brightens up and actually gets more hydrated. So maybe you can look at that as well, Kelly. So start with the skin, start with the lungs, and start with the lymphatic system. The things for the lymphatic system: nettle tea, celery seed, fennel, chlorella, lots of water, lemon in water, apple cider vinegar in water, those kind of things for the lymphatic system. And then really working on massage, really working on dry skin brushing. Doing infrared sauna is wonderful. But I love nettle tea. I mean, if you have nettle tea is a wonderful way to cleanse out the lymphatic system. So I highly recommend using that. And then a little bit of chlorella, and also any sort of green. So really dark leafy greens are also great for the lymphatic system. And then doing the dry skin brushing, highly recommend that. Some people like to do the oil pulling as well, and oil pulling can be wonderful because essentially what oil pulling is doing is the oil is getting in contact with your blood vessels in your gums, and it's pulling fat soluble hormones and toxins. So it's a great way for anyone that's estrogen dominant to actually get a little bit of extra bacteria and hormones out of your blood system that way. So you can do that for 10 minutes in the morning, pulling the oil between your teeth, coconut oil or sesame oil. You could put a drop of oregano oil in there, or geranium or something like that that's antimicrobial, and that will help with any receding gums. That will help with any bacteria you might have in your mouth that's causing any gingivitis or any issues in the mouth. So you can do that as well. If you do suffer from ulcers though, definitely look at your B vitamins and your zinc. And then lungs. So for lungs, it's as simple. It's deep belly breath. So really go hard on those deep belly breaths and try and really go in for 3, 4, 5, hold, and then out. And try and get that last bit of breath, that bit of breath that's right at the bottom of your lungs. By increasing your lung capacity and by breathing deeply, you help to excrete toxins through your breath. When you think of when you get pulled over to have a breath test, the first thing they test the breath for the alcohol. So you've got to think about that. Your breath is a means, it's a vehicle to actually cleanse the body. Cleanse the body mentally, emotionally, and physically. It's wonderful to do that. So work on your breath, focus on your breath. In for 3, 4, 5, hold for 3 or up to 5, and out again through the nose. And make sure they're really deep down, long breaths. And that will help to cleanse out your system. So those are the 3 things to focus on first. Definitely focus on those. And what my advice is you write out a little plan. You write out a plan in terms of what you're going to do each day. So you just want to do a couple of things each day, and then you slowly add on to those. So I would have a think about what you're going to do in terms of, you're going to do a dry skin brush daily before your shower, or an oil pull, or you're going to have a big pint of water with a squeeze of lemon in first thing in the morning. What is it you're going to implement into your daily routine that's going to help your lymphatic system, help your breath to detox and help your skin. Now I do have a cheat sheet, a cleanse cheat sheet, and I'll put the link above and also in this feed. You can just sign up to get that. It's a cheat sheet. But tomorrow I'm going to be talking more about the liver, the bowel, and the kidneys. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, and I may have to add on another session to this cleanse mini series because it's kind of not enough time, and I've actually had a lot of people email questions, so I want to go over those. But tomorrow we're going to do the bowel, the kidneys, and the liver, which are so important. But like I said, focus on the lymphatic, the skin, and the lungs first, and then move over to those. So my advice is write down one thing that you're going to do and just start doing that, and then join me tomorrow and we'll talk about the kidneys, the bowel, and the liver, and how you can optimally cleanse those to support your system. So I hope you found today's helpful. Thanks Natasha, thanks Kelly for your questions, thanks for joining. And if you do have any other questions, pop them below. If you want to get my free cleanse cheat sheet, you can just pop on the link above and just go, that takes you through to the cheat sheet, and you can print that out, put it on your fridge, and just go through each thing daily. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and like I said, if you've got any questions, just pop them below. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Oh, hi Kelly, you should have got it in the email, but I will be sending it back out along with the videos, Kelly, so you'll get the cheat sheet then, and I'm also going to do another bonus sheet as well. Natasha, I'll be on the same time tomorrow, so I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Bye.